Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. There's election fatigue across the state, as you know, and as I know, but there's also a post-election menu for New Hampshire businesses and elected New Hampshire leaders. And here are some of those key menu items. Energy supply and costs this winter. Affordable housing needs to be built in 2023. Workforce shortages reversed in 2023, and so forth. But the issue at the front door is energy, and that was evident in a WMUR report in September. And here is a quote from that. Energy leaders from across New Hampshire came together Monday, that was September 19th, for an energy summit as concerns grow about higher energy prices as colder weather nears. With me to walk through this and some other things are two business leaders in the state, Matt Mowry, editor, executive editor, and co-publisher of New Hampshire Business New Hampshire magazine. Welcome, nice to have you. And Jeff Feingold, who is the editor of New Hampshire Business Review. Welcome to you.
Great seeing you, Fred.
Before we get to those menu items that I just listed, what was your take on the election, Jeff?
I think, like a lot of people, I was surprised at the results, and you know, nationally is another matter, but in New Hampshire as well. But I think voters kind of said we want to just kind of keep things steady, as opposed to some of the other candidates who are running.
Matt?
I think, you know, it showed the division we have here in the country. You know, just here in New Hampshire, the New Hampshire House is going to be the most equally divided it's ever been, which I think reflects our state. And so I don't think there was any mandates given moving forward, but I think there's a message that we do need to move forward.
At the end of the election night on MUR, Jamie Staten was interviewing the governor, and he said energy, energy, energy in that give and take. Now the CEO of Eversource, as you know, is saying we have a real energy issue in New England and has asked the president for help. What do you know at this point, Jeff?
Well, I do know that we have a very serious energy problem in New Hampshire and New England. New Hampshire has had one for many years in terms of price. And now with prices going up 60% or so for ratepayers, that's just going to be unsustainable for a longer period. And our real problem is because we're at the end of the pipeline. This is something that's not new. It's not anything we've been hit with that's like just a big surprise. Yeah. We have real problems getting the energy, especially in the wintertime. Yeah. Natural gas and which is used primarily.
Well, the Business and Industry Association, which is the statewide chamber of commerce, held listening sessions this summer, and energy topped the list by a mile from business owners across the state as needing to be addressed. Now, that's something that we can't really control as much at the state level in terms of costs and such, but there are levers that can the state can pull to help alleviate things. And one of them is making sure we have a much more diverse energy source that we're drawing from. Natural gas is the majority of what drives our energy. It's also the most volatile of the costs right now. So I think businesses are really looking for the state to start stepping up that diversify.
And another one of these menu items is affordable workforce housing. Matt, what about that? Are we doing anything that you know of that will move that needle in 2023?
The legislature and the governor definitely heard that loud and clear from both their constituents and from businesses that we need to do something about affordable housing. Invest New Hampshire is something that has been started, that we're seeing millions of dollars starting to be invested in affordable housing projects. The money that's been earmarked so far, though, it's a good start, but that's all it is. It doesn't quite, it's not going to cover the gap in terms of where our need is and where the market's at.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I gotta say, Matt hit the nail on the head, because really what the problem is that this is another problem like energy. We've been having this for many, many years. I remember talking about an affordable housing shortage 20 years ago. And you know, the legislature tried to do something. They've nibbled away at it. The governor had another package where they would really do more of a long-term solution. Would be to make the rules different, ease the rules for developments of low-income, affordable housing. Legislature didn't really back that, but they did come up with the Invest in H. But in the end, it was about $50 million, and it paid for 30 projects. So that's just the drop in the bucket.
There's so many items on this menu that's important to the business community, and elected leaders are going to have to deal with. Matt Mowry, the co-publisher and executive editor of Business New Hampshire magazine, thank you. And Jeff Feingold, editor of New Hampshire Business Review, thank you. And if you missed part of this briefing on Business Menu, you can go to WMUR.com, where it will be posted later today and all this week.